Remember this? The joy, the pride, the sound of a nation roaring as one. The moment in 2002 when Turkey, against all odds, became the third-best football team on the planet. Standing on that podium, bronze medals around their necks, they had carved their names into history. So how do we get from there to this? A shocking 6-0 collapse at home against Spain in a World Cup qualifier. How did a team that touched the sky fall into a black hole of 2 decades of failure, chaos, and heartbreak? How did they fail to even qualify for a single World Cup since that glorious summer? This isn't just a story about a team losing games. It's a story of passion, paradox, and the crushing weight of 100 million expectations. And now, after 20 years in the wilderness, a new generation has emerged. A group of players so talented, so exciting, that they forced an entire country to dare to ask the question once more. Is this time really different? To understand the pain, you first have to remember the glory. The 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea wasn't just a tournament for Turkey. It was a cultural phenomenon. It was only the second time the nation had ever reached the finals. Led by the Stoics and Olguns, a team of warriors and artists simply stunned the world. You had the colossal goalkeeper Rüştü Rekber with his iconic anti-glare paint, turning into a human wall and earning a spot on the tournament's all-star team. Up front, the bull of the Bosphorus, Hakan Şükür, Turkey's all-time top scorer, led the charge. But it was their collective spirit that really defined them. Players like the German-born Yildiray Bastürk and the versatile Umit Davala gave them a blend of technical grace and tactical smarts that fueled their incredible run. They made it all the way to the semi-finals, only to be narrowly beaten by the eventual champions, a legendary Brazil side with Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Ronaldinho. But they didn't crumble. They picked themselves up and beat the co-hosts, South Korea, in the third-place playoff, where Hakan Şükür scored the fastest goal in World Cup history just 11 seconds into the match. They came back to Istanbul as national heroes. They had shown the world what Turkish football could be. That success, plus Galatasaray winning the UEFA Cup in 2000 and another wild semi-final run at Euro 2008, made it feel like Turkey belonged with the giants. The 2000s were an amazing decade, with the team boasting a staggering plus 57 goal difference over 128 games. But then, the lights went out. What followed wasn't a gentle decline. It was a chaotic, dizzying fall. World Cup qualification became a recurring nightmare. Hopes would soar, only to be brutally crushed right at the final hurdle. The manager's seat became a revolving door, a symbol of the nation's own instability. Even the legendary Fatih Terim, who had brought so much success, would come and go, each time a roller coaster of incredible highs and soul-crushing lows. The stats tell a story of a team that could beat world champions one day and suffer a humiliating loss the next. The history books are scarred with 8-0 thumpings by teams like England. More recently, a 6-1 friendly drubbing by Austria in March 2024 was a painful reminder of just how fragile they could be. Then came the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. In September 2025, in front of their own fans, Turkey was dismantled 6-0 by Spain. It was a result that felt like the climax of 2 decades of frustration, a brutal confirmation of how far they had fallen since 2002. The problem wasn't just on the field. For years, Turkish football has been a paradox. The domestic Super League is one of the most passionate leagues in the world, with stadiums that can scare any opponent. But it's also been plagued by financial problems and a culture that often prefers signing aging foreign stars for quick results rather than developing young Turkish talent. This created a strange situation. The nation's hope rested on a national team that had to find its saviors from clubs outside of its own chaotic system. The national team became an escape, a symbol of what Turkey could be if only it could get out of its own way. For 20 years, it couldn't. The team missed the World Cups in 2006, 2010, 2014, 2018, and 2022. An entire generation of fans grew up never seeing their country on football's biggest stage. The glory of 2002 started to feel less like a benchmark and more like a myth from a long-lost era. But quietly, in the academies of Germany, the youth teams of Italy, and on the training grounds of Istanbul, something was growing. A new hope was being forged. After all the turmoil, the Turkish Football Federation tried something different. They didn't bring back an old hero or hire another fiery local personality. They turned to Italy. In September 2023, Vincenzo Montella, a former striker for Roma in Italy, became the manager. Montella, who had already done well in Turkey with Adana Demirspor, was an outsider who could bring tactical discipline and a calmer, more calculated approach. The effect was immediate. Montella wasn't just a coach, he was a stabilizer. He took over a team full of talent, but lacking direction. His first job was to steer them through the rest of the Euro 2024 qualifiers, which he did, sealing their spot with a 4-0 thrashing of Latvia. At Euro 2024, Turkey didn't just show up, they competed, getting out of a tough group and reaching the quarterfinals, a considerable step forward. Then in March 2025, they won a critical two-legged playoff against Hungary, getting promoted to the top tier of the UEFA Nations League. The federation saw what the fans saw: progress, stability, a plan. In a move that was shockingly unchaotic for Turkish football, they gave Montella a contract extension until 2028. For the first time in a long time, it felt like there was a real project. Montella brought in Italian philosophy, mixing defensive organization with a natural flair of his Turkish players. The team started to look more resilient, less likely to have the emotional collapses that had haunted them for so long. But a general is nothing without his soldiers. And Montella has an army of young, hungry, and seriously talented players. This isn't just a few good prospects. It's a potential golden generation, the kind Turkey hasn't seen since the heroes of 2002. At the heart of it all is the captain, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, now a world-class midfielder at Inter Milan. He's the perfect link between the past and the future. He's lived through the years of disappointment, but at 31, he's playing the best football of his life. He is the on-field general, the man who sets the tempo, the undisputed leader of this new era. And then there's the wonder kid, Arda Güler. The hype around the young Real Madrid star is off the charts, but it's completely justified. At just 20 years old, Güler has a left foot that draws comparisons to the very best. His creativity and pure audacity on the ball represent the magic of Turkish football. He's the face of this new generation, a player who can unlock any defense in a heartbeat. The nation's dreams rest on his young shoulders, and he seems to carry them with a joyful swagger. But he's not alone. Charging down the wing is Kenan Yıldız. Born in Germany, the Juventus forward is a throwback to the great German-Turkish players of the 2002 squad. Yıldız is a force of nature, direct, consequential, and with a ruthless eye for the goal. If Güler is the artist, Yıldız is the assassin. His rise at one of Europe's biggest clubs gives Turkey a killer instinct they've desperately needed. The talent runs deep. The midfield engine room is powered by players from top European leagues. Orkun Kaku of Benfica and Salih Özcan of Borussia Dortmund provide the control and grit needed to compete at the highest level. They do the hard work that lets the flair players shine. And proving the domestic league can still produce gems. There's Ferdi Kadioglu, a dynamic fullback from Fenerbahce who has attracted the attention of England's Premier League. Together, they form a squad that feels different. It feels more complete. This isn't a team built on pure emotion anymore. It's a team with a modern tactical plan, led by a respected manager, and filled with players who are thriving at the top of club football. The solution to 2 decades of chaos, it seems, is a mix of structure and stardust. The ultimate goal, the obsession that has haunted Turkish football for a generation, is the 2026 World Cup. With the tournament expanding to 48 teams, Europe got 16 slots, up from 13. It was a glimmer of hope. The new format meant 12 group winners would qualify directly, while the 12 runners-up would be thrown into a brutal playoff to fight for the last 4 spots. The draw put Turkey in Group E with powerhouse Spain, a tough Georgia side, and Bulgaria. With Spain as the clear favorite to win the group, Turkey's mission was clear: finish second, no matter what, and get ready for the lottery of the playoffs. The qualification campaign was pure Turkish football, a roller coaster of extreme emotions. It started with a hard-fought 3-2 away win against Georgia. But just 3 days later came the national trauma, that 6-0 thrashing by Spain at home. It was a devastating blow that brought all the old fears rushing back. Was this just another false dawn? But under Montella, this team showed a new kind of toughness. They didn't fall apart. They fought back. The next month, they traveled to Bulgaria and took out all their frustration, storming to a massive 6-1 victory. They followed that with a commanding 4-1 win at home against Georgia. It all came down to the final 2 matches in November 2025. After a professional 2-0 win over Bulgaria, they faced the final test. a trip to Spain. Battered, but not broken from their 6-0 loss earlier. They fought with incredible character and secured a heroic 2-2 draw. That 1 point was enough. Turkey finished second. They survived. They had earned their place in the playoffs. But the biggest challenge is still to come. The reward for finishing second is a spot in the dreaded single-leg playoffs, where an entire World Cup dream can be made or broken in 90 minutes. The path is set. Turkey must first face Romania in a semifinal. If they win, they'll play a final against either Slovakia or Kosovo for a ticket to North America. 2 games, 2 finals, no second chances. This is where talent isn't enough. It's a test of nerve, of mentality, of handling suffocating pressure. It is the exact kind of situation where past Turkish teams have so often crumbled. So, this is where we are. After more than 20 years wandering in the football desert, Turkey is 2 games away from the promised land. They have the most balanced and talented squad in a generation. They have a calm, intelligent manager who has brought them stability. They have a leader in Hakan Çalhanoğlu, a generational talent in Arda Güler, and a killer forward in Kenan Yıldız. All the pieces seem to be in place, but the ghosts of the past are always there. The scars of so many failed campaigns run deep. The big question remains, is this new generation truly different? Do they have the mental strength to overcome the chaos that has defined Turkish football for so long? Can they stare down the pressure of a do-or-die playoff and not blink? Or will the weight of a nation's desperate hope be too much to carry all over again? We're about to find out. What do you think? After all the heartache and all the false starts, will we finally see Turkey back on the world's biggest stage in 2026? Let us know your predictions in the comments. If Turkey makes 2026, smart fans from Istanbul to Berlin need a real travel game plan. Survival kit link below.